Not him again, not right now. He with the slick black power sound. Don't get tired of me. I was like Cuddy, dead presidents, filling it for hubby. Then I read the story of Bookman Duddy. It really did touch me. Time went on, it continued to tug me. 5 in the morning, deep in the study, the African norm. So imperative that I know thyself, that I love thyself. Here, everyone, someone else. I bet you the sun won't melt, and I bet that line for some won't help. What's information with no application? A conscious community acting Caucasian. It's more than a rare occasion. It's a lot of y'all faking. Now read those books, heard those lectures. Negroes, get yourself together, let's grow. You conscious now, let's grow. You conscious now. Read those books, heard those lectures. Negroes, get yourself together, let's grow. You conscious now, let's grow. You conscious now. Cops killing scores, all the more. Reason to burn in Baltimore and anywhere else. Our people get tortured. I don't wanna hear from the coons in office. They keep asking us to be patient. We know the verdict, exoneration. We know the feeling, black frustration. We know the preacher's speech to ease us. Just leave it to crack of Jesus. Integrate like a pack of zebras. Get lost in a cycle of the insane. Let me explain. There's no love in the Aryan's veins. Only our sick would expect their change. Cut those chains. Free your Abdullah. I don't wanna lose ya. Let's go. Now read those books, heard those lectures. Negroes, get yourself together. Let's grow. You conscious now. Let's grow. You conscious now. Read those books, heard those lectures. Negroes, get yourself together. Let's grow. You conscious now. Let's grow. You conscious now. Never surrender to the agenda. No homos or transgenders. Go see Umar for the fix. The Pan-African psychologist. Maybe he could help you find a cure. I'm in Botswana's elegant resort. Beautiful queen, structure gorgeous and perfect for black male absorption. How much truth comes from the study if the LGBT fund the study? Just asking as in use scholastic skills acquired in higher classes. Open and magnify your glasses. Third identify them faggots. Sankofa Paku, that's power and control over you. Now read those books, heard those lectures. Negroes, get yourself together, let's grow. You conscious now, let's grow. You conscious now. Read those books, heard those lectures. Negroes, get yourself together, let's grow. You conscious now, let's grow. You conscious now.
My ancestors woke me up this morning. They say, son, you do know what time it is, don't you? I said, what time is that? They said it's war time. So welcome to the war front, brothers and sisters. We want to welcome you to this Monday, June 11th, 2016, year of the white race. We're working our absolute hardest to bring their rule to planet Earth to an abrupt end. Oh, brothers and sisters, we have a fantastic program tonight. Our heart is warm, and we're going to have to really stay tuned. This is one you want to send around to your friends and family. We're going to have a real mature, serious dialogue tonight, but it's not for the weak of heart. This program tonight is for every African who's serious about the freedom and independence of black people. Every black person who wishes to see black people in control of our own destiny, and it wants the pain that's coming towards our race unjustly to stop, and wants to see our people put ourselves and take the responsibility to put ourselves back in charge of this planet the way we're supposed to be, and also those who want to see us properly avenge our enemies and get absolute reciprocity for the crimes that have been committed against our race. So you want to tune into this one. Fantastic program we're going to have tonight. Want to remind brothers and sisters that Sunday, July 24th, is only a little over a week and a half away, about a little over, almost 2 weeks away, brothers and sisters. We're going to have a phenomenal lecture. Brother Captain Tazariak of the ISUPK, Hebrew Israelites, and yours truly, the Irritated Genie. We're going to be doing a lecture called Fighting Molestation in Our Community. It's going to be that Sunday, July 24th, 2016. We're encouraging all Straight Black Pride movement members that can participate to be there. Also, all the Hebrew Israelite nation. Also, any other brothers and sisters who are actually serious about trying to bring an end to the child molestation and sexual abuse of black people in the black community. We would like to have you there. It's going to be on 2116 Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard between 125th and 126th Street. Doors open at 3 p.m. It's a $20 advance ticket price. There's going to be more at the door. For information, you see the phone call there now. You can call 347-496-1022 or 646-481-6315. So we definitely want you to come on out and enjoy that, coming from different cities. If you're serious about stopping child sexual abuse, this is an event that you want to be at and want to participate in, because the ISUPK Nation, the Straight Black Pride movement, two movements that do not share any of the same philosophical backdrop, but two movements that have gone on record and said, we don't believe in homosexuality. We don't believe in white folks integrating with black folks and black folks integrating with white folks. And we don't agree with people molesting our children, and we have to make it stop. And so we want to, provide healing for the brothers and sisters who are victims of it, and we want to stop the culprits from making this happen to our people. So that's one thing. Secondly, please get excited, brothers and sisters. Unfortunately, we got good news and bad news. The good news, well, the bad news for you, the great news for us, we sold out of every one of the early bird tickets for $35 for the second annual International Straight Black Pride Movement convention. Because of course, once we announced that Brother David Banner is going to be part, he's the hottest brother on the map right now. He's traveling around the country, really, really firing our people up. In fact, he was in Washington, D.C. just last night and actually Saturday night, and we heard that it was phenomenal. I mean, it was off the chain. I mean, we had some of our people went, and they said it was the energy, his fearlessness. He's right, the right person at the right time. We're going to have Kaba Soul Singer. Those of you who've heard the song I'm an African, you understand who we bringing in. So that brother's going to be featuring with a live band at the Straight Black Pride Movement International Convention. Also, we're going to have the African Dance and Drama Ensemble, the Universal African Dance and Drama Ensemble. If you've never seen them, they're right out of Camden, New Jersey, one of the poorest regions in the country, drug infested, just a horrible environment for people to grow up in. But somehow a beacon of light has hit Camden, has been there for decades now. It's called the Universal African Dance and Drama Ensemble. And they not only teach self-defense, the brother and sister are masters in self-defense, but they also teach African drumming and dance. And I can promise you, if you come out to see it, just for them alone, the price is worth it. I mean, it's like nothing you've ever seen. But we also have yours truly, the Irritated Genie in Southeast. I might say a thing or two while we there as well. So you want to come on out and enjoy this event. Saturday, August 20th is the second annual International Straight Black Pride Movement Convention, featuring our brother David Banner. He's actually going to be doing a piece called Saving the Black Family in the 21st Century. So you don't want to miss that. He's never done this before. It'll be his first time doing this one. It's going to be a phenomenal event. It's Saturday, August 20th, 2016 at the Thurgood Marshall Center, 1816 12th Street Northwest, Washington, D.C. As a member of One Horizon, of course, we're going to participate and we are, active in the movement. And it's a broad movement with a lot of support and a lot of focus. So come on out. Also, if you're not in this country and you're like, man, I wish I could be there, you can virtually. We're going to be charging $25 for the live stream, and you'll be able to tune in, stream in live. Once we get that up, we'll put that up on Eventbrite as well. If you want to get your tickets, please go to Eventbrite now. You got your tickets while they last. You go to Eventbrite and put in David Banner, the @ and SBPM, and you'll have the advanced tickets. And you can go ahead and purchase your advanced tickets now because there's going to be more at the door. The tickets are $42.50. And it's for the whole convention. You're going to really enjoy it. And believe me, it's going to be more than worth it. It's going to be the biggest event this summer, no question about it. Also, the next day, we have an all-free event. It's going to be all free. Every year, of course, we have our international cookout, the second international convention. We're going to have our cookout on that Sunday, 2300 Oxen Run Drive in Temple Hills. So you want to come out there and check that out and enjoy that as well. That's on Sunday, August 21st. It's free of charge. If you want to bring some food, actually, we're not going to do a whole lot of people bringing food, only because, when you got a bunch of straight black proud people, we got to be very careful who we take our food from. So we want to make sure that the food is coming from brothers and sisters that we know. So we're not going to be bringing in food from every different direction, So we're going to make sure we have people who we know that are bringing the food. So, but at any rate, we want you to come on out and enjoy this. It's going to be a phenomenal event. Bring your children, bring everybody. Black folks, we have that particular park to ourselves on that day. So it's going to be phenomenal. Let's get into this discussion, brothers and sisters. Oh, man, I tell you what's very interesting. In February, I think it was February 27th, February 28th this year. I think it was February 27th. But at the end of February, we actually went to St. Louis and did a Warriors Conference. And it was the first time I've been waiting for years to do this particular lecture called Killers, Cutthroats, and Warlords. And it was a lecture that wasn't designed for people who were traditionally highlighted in our freedom struggle. It was more for those brothers and sisters who, unfortunately, time has kind of left out of the discussion. Not just time, but our people's, the lack of continuity in the freedom fighting struggle with the brothers and sisters who go above and beyond the call of duty in the interest of trying to secure the security of the safety of Black people, or those who say it's time to stop allowing our people to be killed unjustly and sitting around and watching it. It's time to shed blood and make it clear that we're willing to kill. We're willing to take the lives of those that threaten the security of African people and are trying to exterminate our people or kill our people, otherwise oppress our people, and pick up the blade or the gun or whatever their weapon of choice and take life of the enemies and those who are threatening African people. And so we had a lecture called Killers, Cutthroats, and Warlords. One Horizon original, yours truly, the Irritated Genie in Southeast. And not a lot of that lecture is available now because, of course, there was a fruitcake cupcake that they had on the DJ stand, and he sabotaged the actual sound, so we weren't able to get sound that was quality that we could even put out there. But I guess it was all for a good reason, because it's just so perfectly in line with what we're going to discuss tonight that we figured, we're going to do this discussion a little bit different. We're going to have everybody, after we finish the first part of the discussion, and we lay the foundation. You can come on in, make your comments and everything. But tonight we're going to talk about a Black man who's a hero. A Black man who, my heart is really heavy, man, of the loss of our brother. And I really want to talk about this in the proper context, because I think that sometimes with us understanding and knowing that there are false flag operations that do exist, and that a lot of times the things that we see and that are given to us as something we can be excited about are actually things that are set up to actually do harm to us. So for instance, for a lot of the Arabs who may have been excited when they saw the towers coming down in the Twin Towers, and initially they may have received some sense of joy on quote unquote 9/11, once they found out that it was a false flag operation, an inside job by the small hats, who were actually using it as a pretext to go to war and invade certain Arab nations, and to create more of a security for Israel, and to implement martial law in this country under the Patriot Act, so forth and what have you. Once they realized the real design, that it was really designed to use leverage to invade their nations, they weren't as happy. And so because we who have studied the small hats and their false flag operations over the course of decades now, even over a century, those of us that have a little bit more of that information, because we understand how the small hats operate with these false flags, sometimes we see things, and in this case, it would be one of those situations where it's really difficult to make an assessment as to whether or not this is a real Black man or whether it's a false flag operation. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say, based on my assessment, I'm going to say that this is not a false flag operation. I'm going to say that, all right. I would say, based on my assessment, our brother Micah Xavier Johnson is really, really, really a true living embodiment of our ancestor Nat Turner, and living in that spirit during today. The reason I would say that is because I listened very carefully, and as I was listening to, for those that are not aware, this young brother at 25 years old, 5 days after his birthday, essentially gave his life in the defense of African people. And I was very saddened by the fact they decided to send. They were so the police were so terrified by this young brother that instead of actually listening to what he had to say and letting them come out so that they could hear his side of the version, they sent in a robot to actually kill him. They wasn't even going. They didn't send none of their SWAT teams, none of that stuff. They were like, this Black man, we don't even want to have any more discussion. Send him to SWAT. They could have waited him out. The brother didn't have any food or anything. He was in the building. He was cornered. They were absolutely afraid that this one Black man was going to do so much damage that they sent in a robot with a bomb to take his life. And now he's transcended. He's an ancestor. Very brave young man. But one thing that I really listened to when they were doing the press conference talking about it, I listened to the chief of police in Dallas. And when he said that we spoke to this young man, and the young man said that he's not working with any organization. He's not working with any group. He made the decision to do this on his own. That's when I really started beginning the process of saying, this may not be a false flag, because it does not in any way, shape, or form work for the design of what they want to do. If the objective is to paint the Pan-African, Black nationalist, African nationalist community, quote unquote conscious community, as a bunch of villains and demons, then you want to be able to do that. And if you're going to create a situation like this in order to do that, then you say he is connected with these groups. Because he went up there and then they didn't have information readily available on him. They searched and researched and got information and found stuff and started coming out. Usually when they do false flag operations, it's very quick. They have the information, they give you the whole assessment. It happens way too quick. And because they already had a storyline drawn up. They didn't have a storyline drawn up on this one. So suffice it to say, basically what happened, brothers and sisters, this is a brother after his 25th birthday, brother Micah Xavier Johnson. He's a brother who had gone to the military in the army, been over to Iraq, the war against terrorism, and had been trained. And, he's in the war on terror. So basically he was trained to identify, isolate, and exterminate terrorists. And so he's a brother who was actually trained by America, whose political policy is that there's zero tolerance and zero negotiation for terrorism. That terrorism absolutely, positively, beyond a reasonable shadow of a doubt, will not be tolerated. And they actually trained this brother in the process of identifying terrorists, of how to identify them and then isolate them, and then to exterminate them, to get rid of the terrorists that are committing acts of terrorism and really threatening the safety of the world. And so this brother coming out of the military back into civilian life, living a conscious, decent life as far as we know. We looked at some of the interviews with his parent, his mother. His father's Mabutu, interracially married. But, we all fall short of the glory of mom, and he can't do anything about his father. But his mother seems like a very good sister. His sister, very strong young lady, like her. She had very much love and warmth for her brother and very saddened by their loss. We want to try to see if we can figure out if he has any children, because if he does, I don't think he does. If he does, though, we got to make sure that those children have a nice fund so that they're taken care of based on their father's commitment to his race. But long story short, having this training, having the awareness and understanding of the danger of terrorism, what it can do to a community or a nation, he began to see what he identified as terrorist cells that had infiltrated the police departments and law enforcement. And based on his analysis and assessment of them as terrorists, and you would know some of the cases down in Baton Rouge. We just had one very recently. In Minnesota, we've had one very recently. Just open acts of aggressive terrorism against Black people in particular. Him, of course, being a Black man, him having the training of how to identify terrorism. He made this assessment, and I'm sure that over the last past 5 years, he's been watching like the rest of us, Trayvon Martin to the rest. We've seen these things and not known exactly how to characterize them, but him having military training here in the United States of America, he's able to identify terrorism a little bit better than the average person like us. So we wouldn't have the words to describe it or the proper assessment where he's trained in this. Having seen it and recognized it for what it is, and having made the assessment that since there are individuals who've infiltrated law enforcement, and these individuals are acting as terrorists, and there was no capacity for or likelihood that the police who are there now can identify the terrorist cells from the good police officers, it didn't make any sense, or it didn't look like it would even be possible for him to go to the police, because there's no way for him to differentiate which ones of them will be able to tell the terrorists from the regular police. And since the police certainly have not identified any bad police officers in the murder and extermination of our people, actually these recent acts of terrorism and executions of Black people, those individuals are still walking our communities. I mean, right now, there are Black people that are whose lives are threatened because these guys are walking free. I mean, terrorists with open acts of terrorists. Even if you look at Zimmerman, I mean, terrorists who go around against police orders, murder black people, and walk free and are supported by the society to continue their acts of terrorism.
License and registration. You told him to get it, sir. You told him he tried to tell me his license to carry and he was going to take it off. Please don't tell me my boyfriend's gone. He don't deserve this. Please. He's a good man. He works for St. Paul Public School. He doesn't have no records of anything. He's never been in jail, anything. He's not a gang member, anything. That you protect us from all this hate, all this crime that's going on in the world. I ask that you cover him, Lord. That you allow him to be still here with us, Lord. His family needs him. I need him. He needs us, Lord. Please, Lord, wrap your arms around him. Please, Lord, make sure that he is okay, that he's breathing, Lord. Please, Lord, for these police officers, they are not right, Lord. They are not to just kill these people like this, Lord. Just spare their harm, Lord. Please, Lord, you know our rights, Lord. You know we are innocent people, Lord. We are innocent people. We are innocent people. We are innocent. My 4-year-old can even tell you about it.
I'll talk to my supervisor
It's
about
right there. It's on the floor. It's right
Can you
there.
just stand right here, sweetie? I'm just going to keep your mom's handouts off. Yep, I'll take care of that, okay? Can you just stand right here for me?
Stay right here.
Go ahead and stand up.
Can you, before you take the handcuffs off of me, can you walk me?
Can you search her before I... I can't at all. It's got to be processed, okay?
Well, yeah, I feel what you're saying.
Okay.
Come here, Dada.
Okay. Is that your fault?
And so this brother made an assessment that it was time for action. He had identified what he believed to be terrorists. And again, I'm not an expert, so I can't, I have to rely on his assessment as to whether or not, I mean, you can look for yourself. You look at what happened in Baton Rouge, you look at Minnesota, but it's not just that. There's a brother that was hanging from a tree in Piedmont Park in Atlanta. There are many things that have been going on. We look at our sister Sandra Bland, hung and murdered in their cell. We can go down the line of all the murders that are occurring of black people openly. And many of them from now what we have a better understanding of, it looks like terrorist cells who have infiltrated law enforcement on many different levels, and in particularly in what we call the local police forces, and they're just killing black people without regard for any laws that exist on the books or anything of that nature. So this young man, and I mean, it's so sad. I mean, this is a young, virile, strong, handsome young brother. You see him right there. 25 years old. He got his whole life ahead of him. I'm 43. I'm almost twice his age. So I've lived his life plus almost lived his life twice. But this young man said, yeah, I would love to live a long, prosperous life of longevity. However, my people are under siege by terrorists, and I have to do something to stop this. I've been trained. I have the training, the background, and the courage. I did it for the United States government to protect the government from terrorism. Now there's domestic terrorism that I've been trained to. You've been trained to fight terrorism. You've been trained to fight it. And now it's actually happening in my own community. I have a responsibility as one of the warriors in my own community to protect the black community from this terrorism. And so he went, I don't know how he did it, but he made the assessment that there were terrorists who infiltrated law enforcement in the Dallas community. And he isolated them. He identified them, he isolated them, and he began the extermination process, actually killing 5, from his perspective, assumed terrorists, and shooting many more. I think he shot 11 in all, but he actually transitioned 5 of them. And so he did it in the interest of protecting our community. And I really wish that the brother had not been killed, because he had information that would have been invaluable to us. How did you determine them to be terrorists? What are the steps for us to make these determinations? Why did you go then and where you went? But of course, typical of this society, unlike any other case in American history, when there was someone who law enforcement was concerned about, what they were doing. It's the first time this happened in history. Instead of, they didn't send a SWAT team, they didn't send any, tear gas or anything like that to smoke him out or anything. They didn't even give the brother a chance in court to be able to express and explain his actions. They actually sent a robot in. I mean, it's a real story. They sent a robot in with an explosive and blew him up and killed him. So we'll never really get his full story and ability to assess how he made this assessment. But we do want to honor our brother with the 2016 Nat Turner, the War on the Horizon Nat Turner Award for Valor. This is a War on the Horizon Award. He will become one of our primary ancestors that we pay tribute to, because he is an ancestor who made his contribution right here today as we're living. And one of the things we're going to want to do is we're going to want to try to reach out to his sister, any of his family members, and anybody that can get us in touch with them. We want to know more about our brother. This is a good black man. This is a black man who had the kind of courage that most of us wish we had, but we know we don't. And also the kind of training that will be necessary to protect the black community now, because there's nobody else to protect us. And so we're going to need some of our brothers and sisters who are trained in law enforcement, even in military, because now what we're talking about is not just everyday disagreement with white folks. It's not even clan disagreements. We're talking about individuals who've infiltrated paramilitary and law enforcement agencies with training of how to kill. And so in order for us to defend ourselves against these terrorist cells, unless the U.S. government can figure out how to identify them and eliminate those cells, because even the mayor of Minnesota pretty much said the same thing. He looked at it and said point blank, hey, he looked at the murder of our brother in Minnesota and said, if this had been a white Anglo-Saxon male, he would still be alive. So, even the whites are saying, yeah, they're acknowledging that there's terrorism that's going on within their own ranks, and they don't even know what to do about it. And so their hands are even handcuffed. So the only people left to defend the black community are going to be those black people who have military training and paramilitary training, who have the courage, the ability to assess where the threats are coming from. And again, those who are willing to take the United States of America policy and platform and personality as it relates to terrorism. Now, I know many of us don't want to associate ourselves with the United States of America. I understand as an African nationalist that's not our standard and traditional position. However, I think it's very important for us to understand we do live in this country, and we are under the laws and covenants that govern this society. And if the United States government has taken a position and policy that there's no negotiation with terrorism and that terrorists must be hunted and killed, then those black people who have that training are responsible for carrying with them the personality and the responsibility for wearing the weight of preventing terrorism, even on a domestic level in the black community. And so I'm not an expert in that. I really can't tell the brothers and sisters out there like our brother Micah Xavier Johnson, a hero of our people, how to do it. I can't tell them. I don't have the training. They know how to identify terrorists. They've been taught. But they need to teach the rest of us how to do it. And I think that, honestly, to teach us how to do it is one thing, but this young brother actually showed this is how it's done. And so I really, really, really want brothers and sisters. I was really shocked and surprised. I looked up and, of course, once we got the story and looked at it and evaluated it, and it appeared that this brother is who they say he is, the first thing we did, of course, was put his picture up on our Facebook profile saying we really appreciate his sacrifice. At 25 years old, 5 days after his birthday, man. He just hit his born day, man, turned young 25. That's when the brother's life really starts getting going. He said, look, it's not about my life. I got to go out here. I got to try to do what I can to prevent terrorism and the murder of black people. He did it, and his life was taken. He gave his life so that my daughter won't be murdered or be sitting in the back seat of a car with my wife in there when they shoot and murder and execute me in acts of clear, engaged terrorism against African people. So this is a freedom fighter, and I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit appalled at the fact that we don't see more people supporting him. But I do understand. A lot of us are wondering, is this a false flag operation. So I'm not going to be hard on people for that because I understand the confusion in this situation. What I will say is this. Since we do not, and I ain't going to assume that somebody might, because people are going to call in tonight with the conspiracy theories and stuff, and I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I'm going to say it like this. We do not, I'm not even speculating, we do not have any absolute concrete proof that this is a false flag operation. That being the case, we're not going to take any risk tonight at taking away respect and honor and homage due to one of our warriors by speculating with all of our fancy information how possibly this could have been a false flag operation. Believe me, as much as anybody, when I first heard about it, I was concerned that it was a false flag myself. And in the back of my mind, like I'm sure most people out there that are listening, we're concerned because you just don't know these days what to take seriously. You know, I never was a conspiracy theorist, but you know, enough people have talked to me about what happened in Orlando. I don't even know if that thing really happened like they said. I mean, I actually listened to people who were there that said there was somebody trying to prevent us from getting out the back door. So I'm like, well, somebody trying to get them out the back door, then that means there was more gunmen than the one that they said was the one that was shooting everybody. And why would somebody be trying to prevent them from getting out the door? Somebody wants people to get massacred and shot. That's a very bizarre kind of thing where maybe it was. In this case, we don't have any evidence to that degree. And I think that it's irresponsible for us in the context of the fact, since we don't know, we're going to go with the information we have. And in the context of this program is about a warrior, a hero. I think we need to take it at face value until something, unless the government comes out and says, no, this was a false flag operation. We don't have anything else to go on that gives us concrete reality. Let's assume it to be what it looks like. It looks like we have a freedom fighter who cared enough about the Black community to defend the interests of our people by trying to stomp out terrorism in its midst. He gave his 25-year-old life. Let's show love and appreciation for him. He is one of our warriors, fallen warriors, but he didn't fall by himself. He did a tremendous, remarkable job at demonstrating the fact that Black people will not die hopelessly, praying and begging for love from others who want to kill us. He's made the point very clear to all of us, and I think he set an excellent example. So we're going to go through a little thing tonight. We're going to do the killers, cutthroats, and warlords because I want to put the life of our brother in a certain context. So we're going to do a little bit, we're going to play a little bit of music. We're going to show a little bit, talk about some other people in history who've done what our brother has done, and then we're going to get right into this dialogue. So let's start. We got to get a little music going because, whenever we talk African culture, we got to turn it up with a little bit of rhythm. So let's go with this.
The time has come for the prey to become the predator in order to survive. Rest in peace, Malcolm Shaw, Oscar Grant, Sean Bell, and all the other brothers and sisters who were forced to make an early entrance into the Ogun. This we do in remembrance of you. For Black Wall Street, Rosewood, and that damn Jim Crow. 400 years, sweat and tears, Amadou Diallo, Taisha Miller, Rodney King, Redneck, Popo. I'ma kill me a cracker, I'ma kill me a cracker. If these crackers wanna trip, I'ma let my thing rip. If these crackers wanna trip, I'ma let my thing rip. If these crackers wanna trip, I'ma let my thing rip. I'ma let my thing rip. I'ma let my thing rip. One call, Primo, Red Brown Moon, we have Boo Jamal coming after you, Derry Africa, one shot and the cracker bites still to the straight to hell, brother Herman Bell. Low up shit, Hugo Pinell. R.I.P. brother Ron Wells. Ain't no crackers in y'all about 12. Rich your dome with that tone for my brother Reggie Rose. Since y'all disrespect this homie, sent your ass where you belong. No more marching down the street, no more turning another cheek. I do you how you do me, I kill your ass for the Black Wall Street, Rosewood, and that damn Jim Crow. 400 years, sweat and tears, Amadou Diallo, Taisha Miller, Rodney King, Redneck, Popo. I'ma kill me a cracker, I'ma kill me a cracker. If these crackers wanna trip, I'ma let my thing rip. If these crackers wanna trip, I'ma let my thing rip. If these crackers wanna trip, I'ma let my thing rip. I'ma let my thing rip. I'ma let my thing rip. You can bet that just like G-Crab, we gon' combat, we gon' combat. Yo, blackjacks, let me see that big weed blacks.
Also, a lot of our DVDs are available on onehorizon.com website. So let's keep it going now. I want to talk about another brother. And for the brothers and sisters that are wondering, because one of the things we have to learn how to do is have some discernment, because discernment is important. Meaning, when things happen and you don't have all the information, how do you pierce through and determine if something is really what it looks like? And one of the things we're looking at here in terms of Black manhood, Black men who are willing to make the ultimate sacrifice in the Black community, which is to take life. It's not to give your life, because we get killed all the time. Before I say that, I do want to say something to my sister Cindy out there. I hope she's listening. We have a very tragic situation, brothers and sisters. One of our strongest supporters, the brother and sister, husband and wife, the sister who called here and also came to Detroit when we were lecturing there and told about her situation of sexual abuse, and her stepfather molested her. He's in a church in Detroit. We actually were planning in the spring, her husband, her, and a small team of our brothers were going to go to the church where this molester is still teaching and go in on the church service and have her go up on the stage during church service and tell everybody what he did to her. Because she wanted to confront him. And we said, well, we're not going to do it no games. We're going to go in there and march in there and make this happen. But I don't know if we're going to be able to do that now. She had some lost sister move in next door to them as a family. They have a 15-year-old son, I think a 12-year-old daughter. Long story short, the two sons just kept jumping his 15-year-old son. One of the guys trying to jump his son was 19, and one of the sons was 13. They kept jumping his 15-year-old son. One day he went out there a couple of days ago. Went out there and said, look, you're 19 years old. Why don't you fight me if you want to fight somebody? Didn't actually exchange any blows. But the sick sister, the mother, oh, you saying that you too big to be talking to my son like that. She calls, I'm going to call somebody. She actually goes and makes a phone call. Some lost brothers drive around, hop out of the car, pump 6 bullets into the brother's chest, and also shoot the daughter. The daughter made it. The son is fine. The mother is fine. Our sister Cindy. But her husband passed. 6 shots, killed him. And I just want to give so much our love, let's send her our love and our support for our sister, because they're the ones that picked up the Quasies when they came to Milwaukee. I mean, these are people who have changed their life and turned their lives around and become completely dedicated to this movement and our people. And I had an extremely unfortunate tragedy. I'm still a little bit shook by it, but we want to give our sister strength and hope, and hopefully tonight's program will lift her spirits and let her know that we got to just keep fighting through it and navigate the seas of the insanity of our own people so that we can keep fighting our real enemies. At any rate, this is a brother named Mark Essex who lived from 1949 to 1973. And unfortunately, he didn't have any children either. But long story short, his brother went to the Navy. He's actually from, I believe he's from Louisiana, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe from Kentucky. I think he's from Kentucky. I know he's from the Midwest, I think. But anyway, our brother Mark Essex, maybe Arkansas. I can't remember where he's born, but long story short, he went to the Navy. He had a lot of situations of racist dealings with white folks in the Navy, beat a couple of them down, got out the Navy, talking about in the 70s, and basically just saw black people getting murdered and killed and destroyed, and he couldn't take it anymore. I think he joined a group of the Black Panthers, the Black Liberation Army, something of that nature. And just made the decision that he wasn't going to tolerate the brutalization of black people anymore, the murders of people like Brother Fred Hampton and Brother Malcolm, and just all the things that were happening, the terrorism that was going on in the black community. And so he had moved to New Orleans, and he made the decision that he was going to fight terrorism. He was going to fight white aggression against black people. And this is a letter he wrote before he went out there and did that. And he sent it to the television station, a handwritten letter, and it said, "Africa greets you." So he was speaking of himself as Africa and what he was about to do as Africa, as a child of the African continent. He said, "Africa greets you." On December 31st, 1972, at approximately 11 p.m., the downtown New Orleans Police Department will be attacked. The reason? Many. But the death of 2 innocent brothers will be avenged, and many others. And then he says, "P.S. Tell Pig Garuso the felony action squad ain't you know what." And then he signs it Mata. So he sends him a letter and tells him, "I'm about to hit y'all." And then he goes down to the police station and just starts dropping shells on them. And I think he killed 2 police officers there. And he retreats. And this is the video that shows actually once they went and got him while he was at the hotel, because he left there after he shot up the police station. He was a sharpshooter, by the way. He shot some police officers and he left there, and he went to a restaurant. He went to a store that was owned by an Italian to get something from them. And when he went to get that thing, he found out later that Italian store owner had called the police on him. So of course, for days they were looking to see who shot up the police station. And when he found out this Italian storeholder had told, he went back to the Italian store and shot the white owner and killed him. So then he also, once he left there, he knew the police would follow him. So he left some trail of bullets. So they would follow the trail of bullets. And the trail of bullets led to a church that he'd broken into. And so once they got to the church, he started lighting them up and shot them and killed them. And then he left there and he left some more bullets for them to try to continue to follow and trail him. So basically it was a whole situation where they would follow him and trail him. As soon as they came up, he would drop them and take their lives. So finally he got to the point where they found that they realized what vehicle he was driving, and they were in a high pursuit of him. So he went to the Howard Johnson Hotel in downtown New Orleans, and he went into the hotel, drove up into the hotel, broke into one of the doors at the high levels in the hotel, ran through and started lighting fires in the hallways of the hotel. Then if whites would come out of their room and see him, he would just shoot them. And then he went into one room with a husband and wife who were on a honeymoon. They were white, and he shot both of them. And I think he folded up his red, black, and green flag, and he left it there as a souvenir to explain why he felt the need to act on behalf of African interests. And so he left there, and then he lit the fires all throughout the hotel. So of course the police were coming to the hotel in their tanks and their squad cars, and as they approached, one by one, he just started lighting them up. I mean, he lit them up. He had one guy who was retired, and a white guy, and he was like, I got to go down here. And his wife was like, no, please don't go. And I was like, no, I got to, serve my country, whatever the case may be. And he went down there, and he got chopped. And as soon as he got on the scene, hit him. And the brother was in the hotel. They didn't know where he was because he was going room to room, lighting up fires. And then every European he saw, he just gave him the business. And he killed and killed and killed and killed until he finally had to flee to the roof. And they were so afraid, some of them actually shot themselves on the roof, shot one another in friendly fire. Police trying to kill Brother Mark Essex. And they had him cornered in a certain area. And like I said, they were shooting each other. And so they finally just brought in a helicopter. And the helicopter finally started shooting down and actually mowed our brother down in the end. But in the end, I don't remember his body count. I don't know if it was 10 or 15 or 20. I don't remember at the moment. I should know. But you can look up the story of Mark Essex and find out for yourself. The brother did a phenomenally brave act of aggression and retaliation against the murders of black people. And I'm bringing this up to say, why am I bringing up Brother Mark Essex? Because there's a certain way that black men do things. And if we're looking at our brother, our hero, Brother Micah Xavier Johnson, we got to look at, is this how black men do things? Because if we're looking at, some people say, is it a false flag? What we see from Brother Mark Essex, black men have a very bold and calculative way of doing things. First of all, if you read his letter, it wasn't laced with profanity. He did say, tell the dude he ain't, SHIT at the end, but it wasn't laced with profanity. Real black killers have a decency and a morality about them, not murderers. The murderers are the ones that go around, rape folks, do anything. They kill people too. But I'm talking about the ones that are killing for the interests of black people and in the interests of black people. There's a certain kind of way they do things. They feel a certain type of way about the murder and killing of black people, and they feel that way so strongly that they're not willing to allow it to occur. And so you see some of the video here of them talking about Mark Essex. They were like, it was at least 10 guys or something. It was these 3 or 4 of them or whatever. And it was actually just one brother. But this is one of the things we see. One, when black men do this, they don't try to throw anybody else under the bus. They don't try to get any other black person killed or marked behind their actions. They don't want any of us to suffer. They made a decision that it's their time to strike on behalf of their race. And they believe that they've identified enemies, and that the only way to get any sense of relief from the brutality and the murder that we're facing as a race of people is to begin to kill and show that they're willing to do it. They don't invite anybody else to suffer because of what they're doing. Just like Mark Essex did, where here he said he was doing it. He sent him a note to let him know, I'm on my way and I'm doing it. He told him why I'm doing it, because of your murders that you did of our brothers. That's why I'm doing this, because you're killing my people and I can't take it anymore. I'm going to come out here and I'm going to get you some bodies. And he did a surprise attack and he started letting them go. If you look at our brother here, another militarily trained brother, our brother Micah Xavier Johnson, our beloved brother, when we see what he did, it was very similar. I mean, it's almost a modern day version of Mark Essex. These are the resurrected brothers in the spirit of Nat Turner that still lives within the wound of the black woman to birth saviors that will come and say, you know, nobody else has the courage or the wisdom or the sight to see that if nothing is done, our people just gonna get wiped out. And then somebody steps up and says, I see. I will sacrifice everything in the interest of trying to save my people and protect them from this abuse and from this slaughter. And this is what our brother did. So I would say in the study of how black men who are real warriors, not those of us that's going around grabbing our crotches, using a bunch of N-words and MF this and all that, and, you know, bouncing around like a bunch of hip hoppers. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking real warriors. These are warriors. These ain't no, you know, talking it up. These ain't, I can't make myself Mark Essex. I'm the irritated genie, but I ain't Mark Essex. I'm not brother Micah Xavier Johnson. I can't put myself on the level of these brothers. These brothers gave their African lives in the interest of protecting our people and giving the rest of us some room so that we won't suffer the losses like so many of our brothers and sisters are doing these days, like our brother in Baton Rouge, like our brother in Louisiana, like our brothers and sisters in Detroit, like our brothers and sisters in Alabama and Georgia, and so many regions, even our brothers and sisters in West Papua, who are suffering the genocide that's occurring there at the hands of the Indonesian government. There is a need for black warriors to step forward, and our brother Micah Xavier Johnson was one who lived in the spirit and image of our great ancestor. Personally, in my opinion, of course, it's come from Irritated Genie, my favorite ancestor, the one that I say stands above all in this country, is Nat Turner. That's my heart and soul. You know, I live by the creed of Nat Turner: kill the enemy, save the race. You know, I really believe that. And so this brother, you know, is walking in that spirit of a brother Mark Essex. And so now we're going to do what's called a moment of violence, because, you know, we got to pay homage to those who come before us and shown us how freedom battles are fought. And we got to, you know, remember them with the rhythm and spirit of African warriorhood.
My French, when we hug these mics, we get busy. I'm from money to God, that's G-O-G. How I smash a cracker so simple. With a bat, swore to my pistol. Leave dead bodies, dead bodies. Ain't no forgiveness, no sorries. That's word, race war, you heard? Understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Listen, this one's for Garliite who put some bodies on it. This one's for NOY who put some bodies on it. This is for the Black Panthers with some bodies on it, blasting like John Jackson with the shotty on him. Resurrection, the Mark Essex, the AR is the preference, or the 357 Smith & Wesson putting pressure. This is for my ancestors. I break middle fingers, save your hand gestures. You gon' need protection. I'm 360 and your cipher's incomplete. An all-out race war is fighting in the street. I'm beating on crackers like Tyson in the street. Put a bullet in your dome, I'm a sniper with the heat. A dude in the skirt, riding Piper in the street. Talking about black power in the cipher with my peeps. I drop hard bars, what you dropping there is weak. Spitting lightning when I'm writing, strike a Viking in the sleep. Up you mighty race, you can't accomplish what you will. It's a blessing from God when the cracker gets killed. It's freedom or die for our freedom, black man, we gon' ride. You want it so bad, we might cry.
I said, we want it so bad, we might cry. United Front, that's what I'm talking about. For any brothers and sisters who are hearing this message and you didn't know about your brother Mark X's, but you love the freedom spirit of our warrior, of our hero, if you want to go and pay homage to our brother, you can go to Emporia, Kansas. He's in Kansas. Anybody in the Midwest area, I think it would be a great weekend trip, a great opportunity to take your children and tell them about the story of this freedom fighter who fought for our people, to give us some relief from the terrorism and the murder that we were suffering here in this country. He's at plot 47-4-1. Has a headstone there, so you'll see it's our brother Mark Essex. And go pay some homage to Maplewood Memorial Lawn Cemetery. He's at the Maplewood Memorial Lawn Cemetery in Emporia, Kansas. Go pay homage to our brother, pour out some spirits to him, some libation, tell him that we appreciate him and we need his spirit today. We know that he sent us his spirit, even though we haven't been calling on him enough. Even though I can honestly say we just did the Warriors Conference and we called on the spirit of these ancestors in February, Black History Month. I talked about Mark Essex. We shared the information, and now we've revitalized the spirit of this brother, and now he's come back through our brother Micah Xavier Johnson in the interest of protecting the Black community from terrorism, and did the best job that he was able to do in trying to say, hey, we have to defend our community at all costs. We can't allow the slaughter of African people to continue. And so he did that. And so we want to just give some homage and praise to our brother Mark Essex. But I want people to understand it's not just individuals. There are groups that did this. There's a book you got to get. It's called We Will Shoot Back: Armed Resistance in the Mississippi Freedom Movement by our brother Akinyele Omowale Umoja. Very strong African name. And this is a story that he talked about when SNCC went down in the 1960s, was down in our Mississippi region. I think it was Mississippi. And it said several months prior to SNCC coming to Tylertown, night riders, which is basically the Ku Klux Klan type, had repeatedly come across the bridge at Maggie's Creek, which separated the black community from the predominantly white neighborhoods of the city. To no avail, members of the black community warned that the terrorism must stop. You see that? Terrorism. Black people have faced consistent terrorism from whites, and it spikes at certain times during history. How did these brothers and sisters in the South handle it? Because we know we're always taught that our brothers and sisters in the South were just cowards, you know? No. Local blacks told Cotton that during a raid by night riders, a group of brothers with ancient connections captured a white supremacist marauder. So basically one of these terrorists that were killing and raping and burning down the black community was captured. When they say with ancient connections, it was a fraternal group. So these were brothers and sisters who had fraternal connections with ancient Kemet or with ancient African societies or the Black Liberation, the Knights of Liberty. These groups that had connections with freedom fighting movements all the way back to the Haitian Revolution and even back to the African continent. Ancient connections suggested that the black capital was part of fraternal orders. The night rider's head was severed. So they basically cut the white boy's head off from his body and placed on the bridge as a warning to white terrorists. After this act of counterterrorism, no whites crossed the Maggie's River Bridge unless on business. And when they did, they treated black people in a very respectful manner. This Watho County black enclave served as a haven for SNCC workers. As in the black neighborhood in Danville, Virginia, which was protected by snipers, nonviolent activists could receive protection and refuge. The identification of haven communities for protection throughout the state was essential to SNCC's work in the state. So in other words, a lot of places in the states, in certain states like Mississippi and other places, and here we talk about Mississippi, and he also talked about Danville, Virginia. In these states, there were places that were very dangerous for black people to be in. But then there were also communities where people were ready. It's like, you can come here because them crackers ain't coming up here because we get the bodies. That's what we do. And none of those communities got burned down. The communities that got burned down was the ones with a bunch of preachers. And they didn't have no deacons of defense. They ain't had no preachers with no guns. You know, those are the ones that's talking about we shall overcome and Martin Luther King. They got killed and hung and lynched and raped and all that stuff. The other brothers and sisters that wasn't talking about that we shall overcome and hugging crackers and all this weird, bizarre, integrationist, Negro fantasy, nonsense, nightmare stuff, they wasn't getting killed. They was getting bodies. Now, the shooting was going both ways, but pretty much it went one way. Once we started shooting back, you see they got a head right here, they had no problems. And interestingly enough, these savage Euros, now, when they did come across that bridge and saw that head on it, they had a different personality. I mean, it was weird. They was a new type of cracker. It's a weird thing. Before they would come over in a real nasty, now they would come across the bridge and they were a very new type of cracker. I don't know what happened, but they magically were a decent cracker to deal with. You know, very respectful, very calm. And, you know, that's what they did there. We also know that, and we talk about economics all the time, people taking black folks' jobs and all this. During the early 1900s, the Europeans had, the white folks here had invited Europeans to come and take all the skilled labor. So brothers and sisters who had, the brothers in particular, who were skilled labor workers, weren't able to get jobs, so they weren't able to feed their families and make a living, even though they were the most skilled in the community. And so the brothers just started going out to some of these, you know, transplant Euros who had been brought into Alabama, and they just started chopping them, man. They never actually caught the Alabama axe murderer. But basically the brother, if it was a brother or some brothers, we don't know, they just went around and they called them axe murderer because they was just chopping the crackers up. Sometimes they would find the whiteys, sometimes they wouldn't. But they have upwards of, it was at least 15. That was the bare minimum. But there was a lot of whites that they never found them, so they don't know exactly what the numbers were. But they were so upset about the lack of employment and the incapacity to use their skill to build their own community and feed their family, they just started getting bodies. You know, these are the stories that are never told. We also Nobody tells us about Moses Dixon, 1824 to 1901. He was part of started something called the Knights of Liberty. It was a fraternal black militant organization whose objective was to end slavery by organizing black men to invade the South, to kill the slave owners, and to free and liberate our people, and to take the southern states that we took to be part of a free, independent African states in the United States of America. Very, very seldom discussed. From the estimates that we have, they had upwards of 47,000 black men who were armed and prepared to fight against the enslavement of black people in this country, not joining any other army, but independently going. And this is in 1846, in 1847, 1846, and they were saying they were voting to go and independently wage war in the South to free black people from the shackles of enslavement. And actually, once they freed them, take the land and take it and make it independent African territory. So they were very, very serious. And I know people are going, well, what happened? And it'd be better for me to actually show the brother that actually brought it to my attention, because I was not aware of any of this. But there's a brother named Body Shots who told us about how this got derailed. And you're going to be shocked at who derailed it. It's really going to be hurting. It hurt me when the brother Body Shots brought this information to us. But he talked about the fact that the brother who gave the speech in 1843, when the vote was coming to determine whether or not black men should arm themselves with the help, of course, and the financial support of black women, and go into the South and do an independent war against slavery, a black war, not being funded or financed or backed by anybody, but just all black, and then kill the enslavers, and then annex those territories as black territories and independent states within this country.
Henry Highland Garnett on the scene of the National Negro Convention. 1843, moving on, 20 years before the Civil War. In Buffalo, New York, Henry Highland Garnett gave a resolution. It was called the Call to Rebellion. Because when the small hats interjected themselves into the abolitionist movement, they brought something called moral suasion. Meaning you got to educate your slave master on how much it hurts to be a slave. When the brothers say, man, get out of our movement, they went up and started a National Negro Convention. And they said, we're going to send troops. We got 50,000 guerrillas in their militant formation, ready to ride on the South. Henry Highland Garnett said, brethren, arise, arise. Strike for your lives and your liberties. Rather die free men than to live like slaves. Now, I want you to remember that as we move on. Then, in this same meeting, after Henry Highland Garnett gets up and gives his resolution, somebody passed a motion, and they get ready to pass it. We was this close to liberation. I believe if Henry Highland Garnett and Martin Delany and Bishop Turner had their way, we'd be free right now.
Yes, sir.
But Frederick Douglass gets up in the meeting and rebuffs everything Henry Highland Garnett said and said, no, wait a minute. We don't need to fight. We don't need to fight. That's all our leaders tell us today. We don't need to fight. We don't fight this cracker. Whatever you do, do not fight this cracker. And the motion died on the floor by one vote. Let's move. There was a meeting at the White House, Lincoln, a meeting for a resettlement. He told Douglas right.
So we played that there because I know people are looking at this and going, wow, it's interesting. You have one brother, Micah Xavier Johnson. But what we don't realize is that we actually had 50,000 brothers at one time who were ready to do this with the support of 100,000 black women and children. Our people were very clear on what this was about. We have to get freedom, and the only way we're going to get is to go to fight. And I have to make this point. Well, I don't have to, but I think it's very relevant because we just been talking about a couple of weeks ago. The last program we did was the rise of the mulattoes. You wonder, why is Jeannie talking about this stuff? You got to understand, Frederick Douglass is the prototype of the integrationists in this country, and he is also a mulatto. He did some great things fighting against slavery, but as you just heard, the real fundamental thing he did is he took black labor that was going to be used to go and independently fight a war and then annex territory for our people. And he fought to curb it, to not us be independent fighting in our own interests, but to use our bodies to fight in the Civil War for the whites, thus achieving nothing of our own after the Civil War, except the releasing of our people from chattel slavery. But We had no territory, no money, no arm, nothing. Because it was all done in the interest of supporting the European Union, or the white union under Lincoln, as opposed to independent black rebellion, which means anything we get belongs to us. His tractor is mine. His or if you know, his mule is mine. His house is mine. Everything he got, he can keep his damn female. She can go with him. But everything else here is ours now. This is my land, my place, this is my state, my laws, my rules we would have had. I'm saying that to say you have to watch for the rise of the mulattoes. They're extremely dangerous. Every single mulatto bad? No, but it's very important to understand. You have to understand how they operate, because the vast majority of them are going to serve the interests of Europeans. That's why Europeans create mulattoes. It's just the history. If you don't understand that, if it's too much for you, and I'm not talking about light-skinned people, please understand. Mulattoes and light-skinned people have nothing to do with one another. A mulatto means they have a white parent. Just make it real simple for you. If they have a white parent and a black parent, that's a mulatto. Just make it simple. So we're not talking about light-skinned people. We're talking about individuals that have white parents. This is a history that we've gone through. I'm not going to go back through it, but it's important to understand, because that's what stopped us from rebellion to free ourselves during that particular time. You can go get more information on that. Brother Body Shots lecture. You can get it at warnerhorizon.com. You can get the electronic download, or you can get the physical copy through the mail. It's called The Secret Relationship Between Black Leaders and Small Hats. Frederick Douglass was actually an agent for the Small Hats, working on their behalf to curb black labor, military labor, in the interest of preserving the Union. Let's talk about the Haitian Revolution, because if we're talking about the backdrop of rebellion in this country, we got to talk about the real freedom fighters and who really laid this thing down. We talk about Brother Mackendall, who is credited by some accounts of killing over 1,000 whites, and his primary tool of weapon was poison. He was a master. He was from the Congo, and so he was a master of plants. Anybody that's been to the Congo or Uganda, you see it's vegetation everywhere. And so the Twa people and the other brothers and sisters in that region, they know plants, man. If you want somebody to do some healing with some plants, that's who you want to go to, because that's their environment. They live as part of that environment, Iatory forests, things of that nature. So he was a master of plants, and I mean, he was just poisoning white folks like crazy. I mean, like literally, he's one of the early figures in the Haitian Revolution, and he poisoned so many whites. It was like, it's almost unfathomable how many of them he killed, and they didn't know what was hitting them. And he actually taught other people how to do it. Brother Mackendall. What about our brother Boukman Dutty, who started the Haitian Revolution and told our people, very similar, it's almost similar to what the United States of America says about terrorism, no negotiations. When Boukman Dutty started the Haitian Revolution, our sister Fatima did a ceremony and chose him as the head leader. Thank God she did, because a lot of the other leaders she picked was really just some integrationist Negroes, but they were fighters as well. And that's one thing about the Haitians. They had a lot of fighters, even though the ones that were fighting, but a lot of them were Negroes. You know, even like Toussaint Louverture was a real serious integrationist Negro, but he was a heck of a fighter though. But when she put Boukman and Dutty in charge, she started in the beginning right, and then of course Brother Jean-Jacques Dessalines was in the end. The beginning and the end was right. A lot of stuff that happened in the middle was the problem. Anyway, what did he say when they did the initial prayer to launch the Haitian Revolution? What was the prayer of our brother Boukman Dutty? What did he say? Did he pray to Jesus or Allah or Yahweh? No. He said, our God, who is good to us, orders us to revenge our wrongs. He will direct our arms and aid us. Throw away the image of the white man's God, who has so often caused us to weep, and listen to the voice of liberty, which speaks in the hearts of all of us. He's saying God is within. The Creator is already here. You don't have to go and call God by nobody else's name. We're talking about our Creator is in us to tell us we have the right to go free ourselves. He said, throw away the likeness of it. Get rid of that concept of this foreign entity of God. People a lot of times like to appropriate Islam to Boukman Dutty. He was Muslim before he was awoken. See, that's what people don't realize. Yes, just like many of our people were Christian, and then they get new information and they're awakening. You don't call that person a Christian once they make the conversion. He converted from Islam to voodoo, a voodoo priest, an African spirituality. And it was African spirituality that he used to launch the Haitian Revolution. What about Brother Janot Bullet? They don't tell us about Brother Bullet. Let me tell you now, brothers and sisters, I'm going to be honest with you now. All of our freedom fighters don't necessarily follow the instructions that we would like them to follow, okay? They don't all fit into this nice beautiful, like nice, neat, like, you know, laws of war and everything like that, that we would like to take pride in how, you know, we fight our battles. And sometimes you get brothers that's just, Janot Bullet was so notorious. Here was deep. The whites did not want to fight him. He was so notorious. It was Toussaint Louverture who sent Francos and Bassau, one of them, he sent Francos and Bassau to kill him. They had to get the blacks who he thought were his brothers that he trusted to go in as his brothers and trick them to murder him. The whites wouldn't deal with him. This is what he would do. He went to battle with whites. He had his own platoon. That's one good thing about the Haitian Revolution. You had all these different brothers and sisters that worked together. You had some sisters that were some body experts too. You had some bad sisters in the Haitian Revolution. I mean, they had one sister, I forget her name, man. They said she was known, you know, because they would ride horses face in different directions. They would, you know, the whites would ride, you would ride and go past each other and swing your swords and then come back the other way. She was known when she rode her first ride and went there and turned her horses around with just heads on the ground. She was just a body sister, man. She was getting them bodies. But this brother here was, he was different, man. What he would do, like, he would go to battle with these whites. He would beat them in battle. And then he would hold them as for prisoners for a while and kind of starve them. And then he had a policy. Every day, a cracker had to die. Like every morning, a cracker had to die. It was no 24-hour period would go by where a cracker couldn't die. And if they run out of prisoners, he would just go and launch an offensive somewhere so he can capture more crackers because he had to kill whites. I mean, it was like a ride or die policy. Somebody white got to die today. And the way he would kill them was, okay, have y'all ever seen like meat factories where they take a cow, they put it up on that big hook, and then they put them down and they put them on chains, and then the meat goes down the line? He would take the Europeans, the white folks, male, female, child, he didn't care. As long as they was white. And if you was Uncle Tom fighting with the white folks, he'd kill you too. Now, I'm not gonna say he was, you know, I mean, like I said, the brother was Janot Bullet, but he would take the whites by the meat of their, the undergirth of the mouth, you know, the bottom part of the chin, right above the neck, right beneath the chin, right there, that soft part. And he would slam them and have them hung on the hooks. So you got these white folks hung on these hooks, right? And then he would, and then they'd still be living though, they'd still be alive. As one by one, they would send them down the assembly line. Then he would take hot coals. You know, like you have your a hot pierce. Like you have when you do your fireplace, that little black thing, that metal, steel or metal piece that you poke the wood with. He would take it and put it in fire. Then he would stick it in their eyeballs. Until they scream to death, until they die from the pain. So this was Janot Bullet. I mean, the whiteys didn't want to deal with Bullet. They had to send the black folks in. And basically, he was so notoriously hostile and heinous to the whites that the whites weren't willing to negotiate because they knew they couldn't negotiate with him. And the whites wouldn't even negotiate with the other black people, even though Boukman Dutty had said no negotiations. But they eventually killed Boukman Dutty with the help of the mulattoes. They killed Boukman Dutty, and they killed his lieutenants as well. So now you got Janot Bullet, and they had to kill him too. So they got the blacks to do it. They said, if you want to negotiate with us, then you got to kill him because we're not negotiating with you as long as he's there. And actually, you know, more than once, you know, Toussaint went about the business of killing black people in the interest of trying to negotiate terms with white folks. And I'm not going to say they were always wrong, the decisions he made during the course of that process. But in terms of this situation, I really like this brother. If you really want to get an idea of who he was, you know, if you get your Sankofa Superheroes book part 2, one of the things that he really stands out about him is that, you know, during the Haitian Revolution, before they actually got their Haitian independence flag, you know, people would have their flags. The European would always come with their flags. And so the Haitians was like, we need to have a flag. And so Janot Bullet, he would take white babies, and he would pierce them and impale them on his sword. And he said, this is my flag. So you can imagine the white French troops or the various other nations that were there going out there to fight Janot Bullet, and they're coming out there with their flag and their arms, and they're looking downfield, and they're like, what is that? And you got this brother on horseback with a white baby hanging off of a sword, hanging as a flag. He's waving them like he's a flag, like let's bang. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this thing going. Let's get it cracking. You can imagine the kind of fear that this, I ain't gonna lie. I don't even know if I want to be in this platoon because I'd be nervous if I did something wrong. Like I don't want to catch the small of the mouth joint. I don't mind, you know, I'm not afraid of death, but I don't want to catch the small of the mouth joint. That joint just, I don't know why, but like I like the small of my mouth down there. You know, I catch an uppercut, but not like no meat hook joint, and then the piercing in the eye joint. That's a little much. This guy do you want to make sure that you do exactly what he said. You want to make sure you got some crackers to kill him in the morning, because if ain't no crackers there to kill that day, and he be like, oh, it's time to kill crackers. Where's my cracker? We ran out. And you ain't tell him? I don't know, Joe. I don't know. I don't know. That's the kind of general you have to wonder if you want to be in that platoon. And then, of course, the great general, Jean-Jacques Dessalines. I asked my daughter, who's the great general? She got to say his name loud. She said, Dessalines. That's right. You can't just say Dessalines. You got to say Dessalines. I wish I had my daughter right here now. Let her say, hey, little baby, who's the great general? Dessalines. She paused, too. She don't just say it right away. She paused. Dessalines. Jean-Jacques Dessalines, the actual liberator of Haiti, who actually liberated Haiti in 1804. January 1st, 1804 was the day of liberation. A great general, a mighty general. And actually, you can read the information about Jean-Jacques Dessalines for yourself. I don't want to even disrespect the brother by trying to give it. The best book for this, in my opinion, is The Irritated Genie. If you can get your hand on a copy of The Irritated Genie, it's one of the best books I've ever read. It's how I got my namesake. I mean, it really talks about the freedom fighters and the battlers. One of the things he said, and I want people to understand, this is not like, I ain't making this up. This ain't no, you can go read the speech for yourself. The independent speech of Haiti, which was read to his new founded nation, was read by Jean-Jacques Dessalines. It's something like, oh God, man, it's like out of a storybook or something. It's like out of a movie. It's the most hardcore. Again, he not N-word, you MF and cracker. You know, he wasn't like that. It was so eloquent, but yet hard. And this is just a little small quote from his liberation speech. He's talking to the whites. He said, tremble, usurping tyrants. He called them tyrants. They try to usurp and overthrow the governments. Tremble, usurping tyrants, scourges of the new world. Our daggers are sharpened. Your punishment is at hand. He was saying to the whites that are still left in our land that we had promised you that after our liberation, you had been used to fighting us and dealing with Toussaint, who would give you, he was very benevolent to you after you lose battles and fed you well, fed you better than some of his own troops. Dessalines said that will not happen with me. Every one of you that fought against our freedom and independence and liberation will meet my sword. And he held true to that. But there are lots of other brothers and sisters we don't know. This is the spirit of the Haitian Revolution, which really bled into the great freedom fighters like Denmark Vesey and Gabriel Prosser, and of course the Honorable Nat Turner. This is Louise Boisseron Tournelet, lived 1776 to 1806. And he was talking about, he basically said, y'all really don't know how we feel about these white folks. He said, you really don't know the level of hatred that we have for you. He said, in order for us to really express the amount of hatred we have for you, he says, all that which has been formulated is not in accordance with our true feelings. To draw up the act of independence, we need the skin of a white male for parchment. That means, you know, the paper that we're going to write on. We're going to write on the skin. His skull for a writing desk. His blood for ink. And a bayonet for the pen. He said, we got to skin this cracker and take his skull. That's our desk that we sit down on his skull. And all his blood, we take our rifles and we dip the pointed end of the rifle into the blood of this whitey and then write on his skin our independence. He said, that's how we really feel about y'all and the horrible crimes of rape and brutality and murder and torture and destruction of families and your whole sick, savage insanity that you placed upon our people. This is how we really feel about you. So we're talking about some great, tremendous freedom fighters there. Also, you know, we go across to the African continent. Just a picture that I would show, you know. Of course, we know that the brother, there was some real serious issues with our brother, Idi Amin Dada, in terms of his national politics, in terms of what he did with his own people. But as it related to his international policy against whites, I mean, here you see, they came to his country. They literally, they got off the plane, and now all day long, they're walking around carrying them on thrones. This guy, you know, he's a Nubian. You know, people don't know that he's actually a Nubian. Part of the Nubians are in northern Uganda, going up into Sudan, and he was actually a Nubian. So when we say Nubia, we think Ethiopia, which there are Nubians there too, but we don't think Sudan. And then when we do think Sudan, we don't think all the way down into Uganda. It goes all the way down to Uganda, the Nubians, and he was a Nubian, and he showed it. You know, he didn't do everything right, but boy, when it came to international policy, and they came to his country, you see right here, Idi Amin was not playing. And one thing the white folks knew, they was not playing with the Honorable Idi Amin Dada. Well, no, they have an opinion. Well, I'm not going to get on my knees. You not what? You ain't gonna have no knees. He was not playing. He ain't say things twice. This is the kind of state that he created in Uganda under his rule in Uganda. Idi Amin Dada. Also, I want to talk about another brother, because we're talking about the rhythm. The modern day rhythm of black people fighting. I'm going to talk about this brother, Omar Thornton. Now, and I want people to go, because you're going to look. Peace be upon our brother. But I want you to hear, because a lot of times we are so afraid as black people of standing up for ourselves, because I got to admit, the whites are very, they presented an image of themselves as powerful and fearless and incapable of feeling fear, and if there's any let up, and that there's any degree to which they will back up. And long story short, our brother didn't live a life as a freedom fighter per se. He actually was very lost. You know, he was dating a white female. I mean, one ugly devil too. Good God. But our brother Omar Thornton, you know, he didn't know. Nobody had taught him, and nobody had properly educated him to his knowledge of self and things of that nature. So he was living in Connecticut, living a basic life of a Negro, but he was working at a place in Connecticut that was extremely racist environment, according to him. Like, so racist, he couldn't take it anymore. And so the ancestors opened up his African spirit and mind to realize this is totally wrong. And they're destroying my life and sanity, and all the black people that was working with him were being mistreated, and they were just eating the brother's soul, and he couldn't take it. He's like, I'm a man. Why am I being treated like this? And so I firmly believe, I can't prove this, but I believe he was on his way to putting that white female alone, put that garbage on the side and get him a real queen, a black woman. He was on the way to being a father in our community. And this is what I believe. I can't prove it, but I know that there's a righteousness in this brother, because I want you to see what he did in 2010. A brother with a good gene pool, a freedom fighter on that day. I can't say he lived his life as a freedom fighter, but I can say his African consciousness was awoken, and he said, I can't take it anymore. And I'm gonna let you just hear what it sounded like when our brother Omar Thornton had been called to come to work early that day, and he knew that they were going to fire him. They mistreating the brother, we believe, falsely accusing him of stealing something or something like that. But now, after all the abuse he suffered, now they want to fire him and leave him jobless, and they want him to come to work early to get fired. And he did come to work early, and well, let's see what happened.
911. I need the cops here. Hartford Distributors right away. Shooting. What's going on? Who got Somebody got shot. I got shot. Okay, I need some information, sir. Who got shot? We need the cops. What Omar Thornton shooting people. I just got shot. Okay, I need to know what his name is. His name is Omar Thornton. He's a black guy. Get the cops here right away, please. Sir, stay on the line with me. My friends are all over the place. Okay. How many people got shot? I don't know. Okay, you don't know. And you're shot where? In my head. You're shot in the head? Yeah. And what's your name? My name is Steve Hollander. Okay. Who's the person shooting people again? His name is Omar Thornton. He's a black guy. Yeah. And where are you in the building, sir? I'm hiding in an office. Hiding where? In an office. People are running all over the place. Okay, I just see him running out. He's running away right now. He's shooting at somebody else. Yeah, he's still shooting. Outside. He's shooting at a girl. Oh shit, he's still shooting. I hear guns out there. Is he still up there? Yeah, I just fired him. Today, just now before he started shooting. He's chasing people out in the parking lot. Manchester emergency. Hey, we got a chief here. Hartford Distributors, 131 Chapel Road. We are on our way. Can you see this, sir? Yeah, the black man just fucking shooting people. He was fucking killing them. Blackmail? Yeah. Do you know who it is, sir? His name is Omar. Omar? Yeah. Hurry, please. He's killing fucking people. We're on our way, sir. Okay. Okay. Do you know where he is? He's right here on the side of the building. Which side? My sight. So as you pull in by the generator. By the generator. He's going back in the building now. He's going back in the building. He's going back in the building. 911, Manchester. This woman is at that distributor's in a closet. Ma'am? Yes, where are you, ma'am? I'm right here, right here. Okay, get down, okay? I'm hiding in the dark. Okay, hide in the dark. Get down. The door locked? No. Okay. I want you to hide and not move, okay? Yes. There'll be people on the scene. We're trying and get everybody out of there, okay? Oh my God, I'm in the back storage paper closet. Please help me. I'm sorry, what? I'm in the back paper storage closet. Stay back there. We will come to you, all right? Help me, please. Help me. Ma'am, we are on the way. Please stay down, stay low, all right? Yes. Thank you.
State Police.
This is 911.
Yeah, can I help you?
This is Omar Thornton, the shooter over in Manchester.
Yes, where are you, sir?
I'm in the building. You probably want to know the reason why I shot this place up. This place is a racist place.
Yep, I understand that.
They treat me bad over here, and treat all other black employees bad over here too. So I take it into my own hands and handle the problem. I wish I could have got more to people. But yeah, these people here are crazy and they treat me bad since I started here. Racist company.
Yeah.
Treat me bad. I'm the only black guy I already got here.
Okay,
they treat me bad over here. Treat me bad all the time.
Yeah, this is a horrible situation. I understand that.
Hey, don't try to calm me down. I'm already calmed down.
Yeah.
I'm not going to kill anybody else. I can tell my story to you.
Okay.
Say it back anyway.
Where in the building are you?
I can tell you that.
What time did you get there today?
It was about 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This morning?
Yeah, about 7 a.m., yeah.
Yeah.
Because we come early today.
You're going to make the troopers and the people come in and get you? You're not going to surrender yourself?
Well, I guess, maybe I'll surrender. Nah, they come get me. I'm come get me.
How much ammunition you have with you?
I got a lot of shots left. Oh.
What's that?
All right. I guess this conversation is over. I have to take care of business. Because my people, I love them.
Yeah.
And I gotta go now.
Man. Every time I hear that, man. When I realize that the brother, he actually he ended his own life at that point. It just depresses me because I'm saying, man, he's a good brother. He made a lot of mistakes in life, but he's a good brother, man. He didn't deserve to have to go like that. But I understand why he did it. And for people who are listening, I want people to understand, because a lot of times our people get into sensationalism. And it's because, quite frankly, we're not very serious about our freedom and independence. We don't really understand what we're dealing with when we're dealing with racism and white supremacy. And we take the independence and liberation of our people as a joke. So when someone is serious, for us, it's scary and everything, like, because we're not serious. Let's just be honest. We're cowards. And when someone is not a coward, it puts so much pressure on us. So we don't want to acknowledge the courage that it takes for a black person to take a stand, because then it shows in contrast how cowardly that we are. And we all know that. We know we're cowards. We know good and well we're cowards because we see what people that are not cowards do and how they behave. And actually his actions perfectly align with literally the Bible manual of white supremacy. There's a book called The United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept, written by our brother Neely Fuller. And I want people to understand, because you say, why did Omar do that? You can't just go kill him. You don't understand what it's called, because of course you don't read, and you don't study. He did not go out and randomly kill people. In this book, it's a textbook workbook for thought, speech, and or action for victims of racism and white supremacy. He said, this place is a racist place. In this book, which is not like a book, it is the manual on racism and white supremacy. In fact, the term racism and white supremacy, the acknowledgement that the only functional form of racism on the planet is white supremacy, and so they're the same thing, comes from our brother Neely Fuller. He is the expert on he's the one that created the term and the phraseology system of racism and white supremacy. In other words, it is not just white folk don't like you. It is a system and it has rules and everything. This is the guy who created that. Nobody did that before him. This is the man that actually made the term. When we say, well, see, white supremacy does it. This is the guy right here who created racism and white supremacy does it. This is him, Neely Fuller. What does he say? In his book, he talks about when a person cannot take it any longer and they absolutely have to do something, how it should be done. And he calls that process maximum emergency compensatory justice. What is maximum emergency compensatory justice? Well, our brother Neely Fuller, in his book, The United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept, a textbook workbook for thought, speech, and or action for victims of racism and white supremacy by Neely Fuller Jr. He says on page 284 and 285, maximum emergency compensatory justice, swift, efficient, surprise execution of one or more racist, white supremacists, by an individual victim of racism, acting openly and alone, at a time and place of his or her choosing, continuing to execute as many racists as possible without respite or surrender until he or she is forced to eliminate self rather than be eliminated or captured by others. I'm going to read it again because we got to understand. Did the brother read this book? No. But instinctively, what Brother Neely Fuller is telling us is there is a process. If you're going to strike, you don't want to bring friends and family down. You don't want it to become a thing. You want a message to be sent that racism hurts, and it hurts this much, so that there is no tangible, reasonable recourse for the racist. I mean, you're already gone. What can they do at that point? Because anything that they do to do harm to the community is only going to likely create more of this, which they do not want. So again, maximum emergency compensatory justice, swift, efficient, surprise execution of one or more racists by an individual victim of racism. That means an individual. He said, oh, not about this group stuff. Let an individual do it. Acting openly and alone. This is Brother Omar Thornton. At a time and place of his or her own choosing. Continuing to execute as many racists as possible without respite or surrender until he or she is forced to eliminate self rather than be eliminated or captured by others. Page 284 and 285. So what we see is not some random guy who lost it. Listen to the brother when he was speaking. Now, we don't know what he talked like on a regular basis, but if that was not the most calm, pointed discussion and dialogue, if he did not perfectly articulate his issue, you know, it's a racist place. You mistreat me here. You mistreat all the other black people here, you know. And he couldn't take it anymore. I mean, he was very, very serious. You probably want to know why I did it. He said, you know, you're very racist to me. I wish I could have got more of them. See that word more right here? And I'm not talking about more with the red hat. I'm saying more. Surprise execution of one or more racists. He said, you know, and I wasn't making that wasn't a slight at the Moors. I was just being funny about it. When I say more in this case, he's talking about whites, not black people. You know, swift, efficient, surprise execution of one or more races. This is exactly what he did. And he got as many as he could. And then when he realized, okay, I don't have access to any more of them now, they're going to come. And I don't want to be used and thwarted out as, you know, and paraded around as this person and all this. And he took his own life. Peace be upon our brother. Which is a huge sacrifice for a young man that's, let's see, 76, that's 86, 96, 2006, a 34-year-old young brother, man, gone. And after he did that, of course, that's how our brother got a murder rap.
Where they set black inmates up in these jails and penitentiaries, and in particular there in Nassau County, and pulled all the black officers out and the black inmates so they could jump on Brother Colin Ferguson because they were mad with him for catching the Long Island train and killing all them white folks. I love Colin Ferguson.
You love a man who randomly killed 6 people on a commuter train?
I love Colin Ferguson just as much as the masses of white Americans love General Schwarzkopf, General Westmoreland, General Patton, General MacArthur, and Eisenhower. America awards her killers, and they get ribbons and stripes and bars. I'm sensitive to the pain and suffering of the loss of life on that train, but I'm one of the rebellious slaves. And so when black people stand up out of pain and suffering and frustration, I understand after 500 years.
Cause a brother like me said, well, In the name of Dale Jones, carousel your chrome. Let it off in a circle till they dead and gone. All these cold-blooded crackers and these Uncle Tom coons practicing eugenics, tearing colored babies out the womb.
Value of birth control is becoming apparent to the enlightened and the intelligent. The campaign for birth control is not merely of eugenic value, but is practically identical in ideal with the final aim of eugenics. Margaret Sanger, 1921.
In her autobiography, Margaret Sanger wrote about a speech she gave in 1926 at a Ku Klux Klan rally in Silver Lake, New Jersey. The Planned Parenthood founder bragged about the fact that afterward, she was invited by 12 other Klan chapters to speak at their events.
The best way to hate a nigger is to hate him before he is born. Leander Perez, Louisiana State Judge, 1970.
Coming hard as a typhoon. Put it down when I find this Rupert Murdoch. I'ma empty the round like Hunana did Versace on these Fox News clowns. Bill O'Reilly, Juan Williams, tally up my Fox killers. Got my glazer cock vision set. Time to disinfect the world of these vicious insects, pathogens, and wrecks. And cultists walking with Michelle Malkin, Sean Hannity, and Lynn Balls talking. I bust, then rush like Hussein Bolt, hot racing. Jubilation, bloody bodies at the Fox station.
Now we got a murder rap. 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 Now we got a murder rap.
You said about South Africa, we give him, that is to say, white people, 24 hours to get out of town by sundown. That's all. If he won't get out of town by sundown, we'll kill every white that ain't right that's in sight in South Africa. We kill the women, we kill the children, we kill the babies, we kill the blind, we kill the cripple. We kill them all. We kill the faggot. We kill the lesbian. We kill them all. You say, why kill the babies in South Africa? Because they're going to grow up and oppress our babies, so we kill the babies. Are you seriously presenting yourself as a man interested in the future of your people with this kind of rhetoric?
If the white man has killed millions of our people, and you cannot deny the undeniable and indisputable and irrefutable truth, fact, proof, and history of their bloodshed there in South Africa. I said it would be merciful if they would leave. I don't agree with a government, a sham government. No man walks out of prison after 27 years and becomes the president unless there's a script and a plan behind the scenes to remove the economic sanctions from whites in South Africa, but no real plan for redistribution of the wealth. The Oppenheimers, the De Beers, and others there sucking the blood of our people. So I said, be merciful. Give them a period of time. Truman gave the Japanese a period of time. But when they didn't comply, he dropped the bomb on men, women, children, and babies.
Now we got a murder rap. Now we got a murder rap. Now we got a murder rap. Now we got a murder rap.
Man, these talk show divas ain't safe. No one can contain my hate. I'm like, die, Uncle Tom, die, Uncle Tom, die. Duck when my semi blow on the Oprah Winfrey show. Ready, aim, steady aim, deadly game, let the semi go bang. Now I got a murder rap. Now I'm looking for that Wendy Williams. I'm a pillar cap, still a trap, stripper tracks. Cause her act set us back more than heroin, liquor and crack. See, they use that unseemly to push, clap, trap, power to, arrowful, am I diabolical? Cause I plan to take Obama on a sabbatical.
We must recognize that real progress depends not only on the laws we change, but, as I said before, on the hearts we open. For if we're honest with ourselves, we'll acknowledge that there are good and decent people in this country who don't yet fully embrace their gay brothers and sisters. Not yet. That's why I've spoken about these issues, not just in front of you, but in front of unlikely audiences, in front of African-American church members, in front of other audiences that have traditionally resisted these changes. And that's why I'll continue to do so.
Reparations about the fool.
Now we got a murder rap. 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 Now we got a murder rap.
kill. Secret society with the cold steel, kick down to the floor. The Mason Lodge door, snatch Hillary Rodham,
Till Hillary got her.
ran Timothy Gardner, plus Rob Gates, Nancy Pelosi, heat to her face. Rahm Emanuel right beside Eric Holder, Ben Bernanke, Rockefeller blindfolded. I don't give a shit about a Rothstein, Rothschild, lobbyist, special interests. I'ma take them all out. Holocaust style ball out when they go the martial law route. First stop Mexico, from there where we go. Lost in Nigeria, killed the whole cabinet. Now I'm in Libya.
Appear to bespeak a position, a political position, in which you have no interest at all in reaching out and hoping and working for a multiracial community of harmony and peace. Am I correct in saying you have forsaken that idea?
My arms are tired, Phil. We've reached out for 500 years.
Too late now.
We've faced tanks. We faced water hoses and cattle prods. Vicious dogs bit the breasts of black women off in those protest marches of the civil rights movement. Vicious four-legged dogs sicked on us by two-legged dogs, bit into the groin and the private parts of black men, women, and children. So, Mr. Donahue, I believe that the white man is absolutely disagreeable to live with in peace, and that no one has been able to get along with him nowhere on the face 196,940,000 square miles of the planet Earth.
Watching that thing there, I said, boy, these rappers be making some songs, man. I said, but I guess if they make songs talking about, I'm going to shoot this person in the neighborhoods, you did that. I mean, I guess you make songs, you make songs. I guess that's the rhythm that the small hats have created by creating the industry where you just say anything in the music. But I ain't gonna lie, that song there, when I saw that video, I was like, wow, man. He basically said all of the Anglo-Saxon races, then the Uncle Toms, and then all of the small hats too, everybody, I'm getting everybody. I was like, wow. I said, you know what? It's kind of like a gangster rap song, but a gangster rap song against like all kind of folks that don't like black people, but pretty interesting. But we're wrapping up this portion because we want to give people a chance to talk about our brother. But we really want to take this opportunity and time to really come in here. And again, tonight, brothers and sisters, we're not doing the speculation of all the different things it can be. We'll talk about that another day if that comes up. If we find that, what happened here was something different than what it looks like, then we'll address that on another day. But right now, let's enjoy the opportunity to show respect for a young brother, 25-year-old, who gave his life in the defense of African life and in fighting vicious terrorism and executions that were going on in the black community. A young man who took his skills and his education and learning in the military and utilized what he had been taught about finding, identifying, isolating, and exterminating terrorists that are terrorizing communities, who took that knowledge and skill and did his best job to prevent further executions and murder and heinous acts against African people in a society. Now, quite frankly, we won't know until the next coming weeks how this is going to play out. It all depends, I think. If black people act like they don't realize what this young man did, and nobody other than One Horizon pays homage and respect to a brother who is now our ancestor, Brother Micah Xavier Johnson, if he doesn't get that kind of love and respect, then maybe the whites will think it's an aberration. Maybe it won't go anywhere. I really firmly believe, though, based on, like, I listened to this sound, the way they sounded with Omar Thornton, I doubt, I know they're probably still racist in that place, but I don't think they operate with the same type of heinous, those that were there, type of racism that they did before. And I could be totally wrong. It may have had no impact on them, but it just didn't sound like they hadn't been moved. I felt like they were kind of moved. I felt like if that white guy would have had the chance to decide, was he going to fire that brother that day, I don't think he would have done it again. Or another black person who felt like they were mistreated, I feel like he probably listened to their concern. I'm not sure. I don't know, I can be wrong. Maybe they just encourage, believe racist and disrespectful. I don't know. But I feel like this brother has, if nothing else, you know, I've been watching the news and stuff. I'm noticing how the whites, or even on the news, are constantly talking about, well, we're not, you know, it's not justification for these murders that are happening to these black men, but they're without saying we understand and respect his decision to do this, without saying this was actually necessary, because we don't have the capacity to determine who the cells, that the racists or the terrorist cells that have infiltrated law enforcement, perhaps government. We just don't know how deep this goes. They're not going to say we don't have the skill to actually identify these individuals. So in short of saying that, I'm listening to how they're talking, and they're trying to make him a monster. But at the same time, every time they talk about these murders and executions that happened in, particularly the one that happened in Baton Rouge, and in the murder that happened in Minnesota, I can see that they're going, this is just wrong. This is the execution. This is terrorism. They know it's domestic terrorism. They're not saying those words, but they understand it as domestic terrorism. And I can see it in them when they're talking about our young brother, Micah Xavier Johnson, that they're going, wow, this was the only recourse. Someone has to identify the terrorists and begin the process of the American process of zero tolerance for terrorism. So they actually understand that they're never going to say that, but I'm watching them. It's not the same way like when Trayvon Martin was murdered, how they made him out to be this horrible guy and it was his fault that he got killed. It's not that same despondent, reckless abandon that they talk about our brother with, laughing and making jokes about him and all that kind of stuff. They're not trying to provoke this kind of response from more black people who feel like it's a hopeless environment of us getting any type of justice or fairness or just even living. They don't want all of us who honestly feel, the honest truth is we're all short of being terrified. We're all fearful. Every black man and woman at this point in this society that is honest and has seen these videos that our brother had to watch as well feels the same fear. When we go out there, we really are thinking, are we going to be killed today? And it's really put us all, a whole nation in a state of terrorism. To be 100% honest, we know we want to sound like we're strong. And I'm telling you right now, after watching the murder in Baton Rouge and watching the murder in the execution in Minnesota, that I ain't gonna lie. I don't want to sound like a sucker, so I ain't gonna say I'm scared, but every time I walk out the door, I mean, when I go ride my bike, anything I do, when I walk out this door, I've always been like that, but not like this. I mean, I've always felt, you know, you never know what can happen. It's different now. Literally, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do if the police put their lights on. If I know I haven't done anything, I might drive off. Only because I don't want to feel like getting killed. And I'm not saying that I like a coward, but I'm just being honest. They're creating a type of environment where I don't know if this is one of these terrorist cells. I just don't know. And I ain't trying to find out. You know what I'm saying? The only way you can find out is to get killed. There's no other recourse. So it almost makes you want to shoot first, you know? It's like, if you don't want to die, it's a state of terrorism. Let's be real. And we want to pretend like we're not. But I want to show these videos because for people to understand the backdrop, for those that don't understand, what is it that brother Micah, honorable brother Micah Xavier Johnson has been seeing that has made him go, we have to stop the terrorism in America. We're going to show you here just a part of a clip. This is just part of a clip where there's a brother outside in Baton Rouge. He's selling DVDs, not bothering anybody, to terrorists in police uniforms. That's what makes it so dangerous. They didn't come up in Klan uniforms so he could easily identify them. Somehow they infiltrated the law enforcement, and they look like regular police officers. And they come up and then they just attack and just, I mean, you can watch it for yourself. We got this specific video from the Hot Black Coffee Party and the Rouge connection. He's laying on the ground. So as you see, he's laying on the ground with two white terrorists on top of him, and then they just execute him. And if I had shown the part before that, you would have got a better sit, because he was actually standing up at first. One of them tackled him, and they jumped on top of him, He couldn't breathe. His arm was hurting, and they just murdered him. Let's see the other execution. And I'm sorry, that's our brother Alton Sterling. And then our brother Philando Castile. Now his was, I mean, it's just really sad. And it's hard for me to understand this. It looks like he has like a European car. Because I don't know if it's the way the camera worked or not, but it looks like his seat is on, and unless it's taking things reversed, but it looks like his seat is on he was the driver, but it looked like it's on the right side. It almost be like a European car, but that might just be the way the camera works. I don't know why it's like this, but anyway, basically they got pulled over for a tail light or something being out. And he has his woman in the car and her 4-year-old daughter in the back. And they're a family. And the brother is licensed to carry a weapon. And the police officer pulled him over, and he pulls over, yes, sir. And he says, well, just so you know, officer, I have my weapon. I have a weapon on me. So he informed the officer that he had a weapon, and according to our sister. And the officer said, okay, well, go ahead and give me your ID. And when he reached to get his ID, he just shot him a bunch of times. And the sister, after he shot him, started filming and telling the story real time and had the presence of mind to do this, which we really love our sister for this, because these executions obviously are happening frequently all around the country, maybe around the world, but we don't know it because we don't see it and get a real sense of the type of terrorism that we're facing.
Don't tell me my boyfriend just went like that.
Keep your hands where they are, please.
Yes, I will, sir. I'll keep my hands where they are. Please don't tell me this, Lord. Please, Jesus, don't tell me that he's gone.
Now, I didn't play the rest of the part because she has a daughter, a 4-year-old daughter in the back, and she starts to lose it for a minute. And her daughter says, "Doki, calm down, mommy. I'm with you." And her daughter, he's leaning right over, and her daughter's right there. I mean, it's God, man. Oh man. But just like our ancestors said, you know, when it gets dark, man, we talking dark, man. And it seems like all hope is lost, a savior comes. And this is one of our resurrected saviors, man. This is the spirit of Nat Turner. This is the spirit of Jean-Jacques Dessalines, the spirit of Janot Bullitt. This is the spirit of Harriet Tubman. This is the spirit of Nanny of Jamaica, Queen Nzinga. This is the spirit of Menkipa Rata, Hootie Mays, and a 25-year-old warrior, honored and a celebrated veteran of the United States military, who's taken his skill at identifying terrorists, at isolating them and exterminating them, and brought it to the defense of the Black community at a time when nobody else is threatening to do anything for our people. We had a lot of N-wording and a lot of MF-ing and all this kind of stuff, but in terms of actual definitive action, this is our brother. So I want all the brothers and sisters, because a lot of times our sisters say, you know, our men will shoot each other and they do a lot of talking, but they're not going to do anything to white folks. They're not going to do anything to the terrorists that are killing our people. They're not going to do anything to the Asians in our community that are exploiting our people. They're not going to do anything. I think everybody, we all have to take a step back, and we have to change our dialogue now. The new dialogue is we need more Micah Xavier Johnsons. You know, we need more brothers with the courage like our Savior. You know, our modern day Asar, man, our modern day Haru. We need more warriors like Brother Micah Xavier Johnson to be in protective situations. I mean, he had to go on the offensive. But if a brother like him, if we were organized, we could have brothers and sisters in our community who were defending the community, so we wouldn't even have the terrorism to deal with. So he wouldn't actually have to lose his life in that process. If we were organized, we would stop calling each other N-words and actually realize we were Africans. We were Black people. See, remember, he wasn't an N-word, brothers and sisters. He was a brother. He was a Black man. He was an African nationalist. He had the red, black, and green flag on the red, black, and green. Brother Garvey that did the UNIA, he said, "Up, you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will." He said, Declaration, I think it was 42. He said, we deprecate, or Declaration 11, we deprecate, meaning we hate the use of the N-word. That is not who we are in our identity. We're Africans. Africa for the Africans at home and abroad. This young man had his identity intact. He was not trying to be somebody else. He was an African. Like Mark Essex said, Africa greets you. And this young man here took the African continent and turned it in a different direction and pointed it in the shape of an AK-47 and said, let me show you how we do it. We don't allow terrorists to kill Black people without proper responses. We kill too, and we do it very effectively. This is a hero of ours, and we have to say his name frequently, and the dialogue has to change. My sisters, I'm telling y'all, I do not want to hear I mean, you had it right before. We ain't going to do that. You can't say that now. And I mean, if it was a sister that did it, I'd gave her the same love, but I ain't going to lie. You'd have really had the right to say, these black men ain't about doing that. Man, we got to wait for our sisters to do it. But no, it wasn't a sister who's a veteran. And I'm not saying that a sister who's a veteran and you know, willing to stand up doesn't have the right to do that. What I'm saying is, in this particular case, it was a black man who was born out the womb of a black woman who was raised as a strong brother, a valiant brother, a decent man who made the decision to stand up for his community. We love you, brother. Micah Xavier Johnson, your spirit is with us. We got your message. Terrorism must be stomped out. We may not have all of the knowledge and understanding that he has and skill to identify terrorism, but we do have to figure out how to do it. Now, I wish they wouldn't have prematurely taken our brother's life, because he would have been able to help us figure out the process of identifying terrorists so that we would know what we were doing. But there are other brothers and sisters out there who have the training. You have to come to the community and let us know, how do we do this? How do we identify and separate terrorists from legitimate officers who are doing their job, man, trying to protect and serve? We respect that. They got to protect and serve. We understand. But then you got terrorists and they look just like you. What are we going to do? We don't know. And that's a terrible situation for people who are being terrorized in a society to be in. We got to have some way to differentiate law enforcement, legitimate law enforcement, that is actually doing things in the interest of protecting communities from terrorists who are coming to kill black people. And right now, I ain't gonna lie, I don't know how to do it. I wish I had the skill that Brother Micah did, but at any rate, at least we see an example of how it can be done. Now what we want to do is defend the lives of our people before it gets to the point where the brother has to lose his life, by being in defense mode, where we don't have to go on the offensive and the brother has to go out, because, you know, we're not going to get all the weight of his knowledge. We got to be able to put ourselves in a position where before the terrorists come in, we know that they're coming and we're waiting on them. Hey, you're not coming in here. Or maybe even get it to the point where we're helping the government identify these terrorists and take them out. Look, he's a terrorist. This is how we know. He's got to be taken out. That's the U.S. policy. He's got to die. It's that no, she's a terrorist. This is how we know. Here's the definition of a terrorist. We've identified they're a terrorist. They have to die. That's the policy of U.S. policy. Gotta die. Terrorists have to die. That's the tagline. That's the United States policy. I think it's a good policy. The question is determining who the terrorists are. And that will be something that may be a little contentious, because we do have to figure that process out. At any rate, this brother figured it out, and we love him. And he has to be, it's not even optional. If you find someone in this community, if they say they're not sure, you give them a little bit of a pass, because I can understand somebody could mistake this for what we would call a psych ops or a red flag, a false flag operation. But the responsible thing to do, since nobody can prove that, since this young man is no longer with us, is to go with information we have right now. Information we have that this is a warrior, a soldier for our people. He wore their uniform and got training from them, but he used his training in the defense of African people, and it was willing to go on the offensive to prevent terrorism in our community. Brother Micah Xavier Johnson, we love you, my brother. Our brother, 25-year-old. Let me get that right. Let me get his right. I think it's 1991. So that's a beautiful year. And I know some of y'all cancer brothers and sisters. I know y'all just having a ball right now. Yes, he was a cancer. Should have been born a Sag, but I don't know. I mean, he did what he did, so I can't take that in. Man, who wouldn't love to say, when you're doing the ancestors and with their zodiac sign, boy, we're going to have a lot of cancers boasting their chest out now, boy. Oh, my cancers. I don't even know if I want to talk to no cancers tonight. I might ban the cancers from calling tonight, because I know y'all going to be, oh, I'm a cancer. Everybody born in 1991. I was born in 1991. I mean, if you got that same dashiki. I got the same dashiki, brother. I got the same dashiki. People beating up on Professor Griff, the government trying to say he has a, look, this brother was very clear. He did this on his own. But I'm like, man, this is one time. I'm not a jealous person. It's the only time I've ever been jealous of anybody. I'm a little bit jealous of Professor Griff. I know Griff don't know the guy, but just the fact that he had the honor of being in the picture with a man of this magnitude. I mean, that's like being able to take a picture with Nat Turner. Yeah, no, this was me and Brother Nat. You be lying. Yeah, I know. No, we chopped it up, I mean, technically it's a lie, but you almost want to make a story up. Yeah, no, I knew the brother. You know what I'm saying? He was that kind of brother. He was a soldier, but I mean, you don't want to lie, but you kind of do want to lie, But Professor Griff has the honor of having the picture with the brother. Nobody else does. And then, of course, he's taking a little flack for that. But, I mean, it was at an event with 700 people. So he took a picture with a lot of people. And he respected Brother Griff, I guess, for being a public enemy like all of us do. Griff doesn't know the brother, but I daggone sure wish I would have had the honor of meeting a brother like this, man. But we've met him through his work. We love you, brother. I think it was more him doing his duty, but you could also look at this as an example of maximum emergency compensatory justice, where a warrior says we have to stop the bleeding and the pain now, and he did it effectively. So what I'm gonna do now, we're gonna come back in here, brothers and sisters, and of course you already know what's about to happen tonight. I don't need to tell you that. You know what we're gonna do. We're gonna come back in here tonight, and we're gonna have a very special program. As we go to the phone lines, we're gonna honor and remember our brother Micah Xavier Johnson, and we're gonna say, like we always have our greeting, of course, no N-word tonight, particularly tonight. Here's an African, a black man, a warrior for our people, who it's unfortunate that he's transitioned, but who serviced our race in a way that do this in recent times. We got to really play some homage and honor. No dialogue or debate about no false flags tonight. I'm not saying that you're wrong. Hear me. It's total respect. You could be right, but we're not going to talk about it tonight because we're going to go what we got now. We're going to take it on face value that this brother is our brother, that he loves us, and that this is the kind of black man that he exemplified. And tonight we're going to say, praise Nat Turner in the person of Micah Xavier Johnson. Glory to God, and long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Let me say it again. Tonight, in order to be heard, we're going to say, praise Nat Turner in the resurrected spirit of Micah Xavier Johnson. Glory to God, and long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. I know you say you heard me twice, but man, I want to just say this one 3 times. Praise Nat Turner in the resurrected spirit of our warrior and now our ancestor, Micah Xavier Johnson. Glory to the most honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Come in tonight, brothers and sisters. Share your love and respects for our brother. Come in here and talk to us. Give your perspective. No conspiracies, though, tonight. Tonight, we're just going to ride with it. We have a freedom fighter who's fallen. That's the sad part, but it was a beautiful way to go out in defense of our race. Let me go to 7815. Praise Nat Turner in the resurrected spirit of Micah Xavier Johnson. Glory to God, and long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Praise Nat Turner in the spirit of Micah Xavier Johnson. Glory to God, and long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.